Hey ladies and gents, this is Wiz coming to you with a new Mythic Legions review, and this figure is an orc by the name of Gorthokk. Gorthokk. Miggy is also here, and he's eating chicken nuggets as we speak. You want to show your chicken nuggets?
No.
See?
They're my chicken nuggets. Not...
Dino chicken nuggets.
Best kind of chicken nuggets, my God.
So, I don't know why, but every time I ask him if he wants to do a review, he's like, "No, I'm hungry." So, okay, we compromise. Okay, this is the bio for Gorthokk. Gorthokk. Cavern orcs, or shadow orcs as they are commonly known, are so brutal that other orcs fear their ferocity. These grotesque, inbred creatures are born deep below the surface, cursed to live a life mining for metals and forging deadly weapons. The most savage are trained for warfare and eventually make their way to the surface to fight for Erethyr. Gorthokk, a rare strategist among his people, has been chosen to represent Erethyr and to sign the evil pact known as the Covenant of Shadow. So, a shadow orc.
Is everything just shadow now?
Well,
Shadow Bull, Shadow Orc.
Shadow Minotaur. Well, it is the Covenant of Shadow, so you want to
Covenant of Shadow.
Send your shadowiest characters.
Shadow.
And this one is definitely the shadowiest. Shadowiest? Shadow.
It is the shadowistest.
You know what? When I saw this character, I wasn't sure I was going to get it, but looking at it in hand, it's spectacular. And it really, really stands out amongst the other orcs. In a good way. Right, Miguel? Unlike Man at Orc.
Man at Orc is, he's special.
Man at Orc is Unken. Unken is not Miguel's favorite. He's his least favorite orc. But I think this might be my favorite orc of the ones that have come so far. He's very, very different. So, should I sing the song that I composed for him?
You composed a song?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Orcs, eat pork with sport.
Oh my God.
They're
in New York.
They're from New York. Their favorite vintage TV show is Mork, from Mork. And
oh my gosh, Mork.
Their favorite rejected Supreme Court Justice is Robert Bork.
And they listen to Gabe the Dog Bork remixes all day.
Anyway, it sounded a lot better in my head. So
it sounded pretty bad out loud.
The cool thing about this orc is that he's black, and he's got this like vitiligo stuff going on, kind of like remember what Michael Jackson had? Do you remember Michael Jackson, Miguel? Are you young enough or old enough to remember Michael Jackson?
I don't remember Michael Jackson. I know what he looked like, and he was freaky, but...
Well, supposedly, the reason he changed
post-surgery
from a black man into a white woman was because he had this condition called vitiligo, which, sort of attacks the pigment of your skin and turns you light. And this is what...
so he just decided...
Gorthokk has.
Let's just get rid of all of the pigment.
Supposedly. I don't know. He had his issues.
And then he decided, you know what, let's make my nose look really good, too.
Michael had some issues, but Gorthokk is really looking cool with his spots. They're on his head. They really add some nice touches on his chest.
I think he got some of those, doggy print temporary tattoos.
No, it goes up, if you look under his pauldron, it goes up on his shoulder and everything. They're just nicely blended in there. Up
his
the
really
neck.
Macho doggy print temporary tattoos.
I really like it. I don't know how they did that, but it's definitely not just black. There's all these different gradations and shades of black, and I don't know if the spots are tampoed on. Probably they are, but it's a nice touch. Like little spots on the lips and on the cheeks and on the ear and up on the head, and it just gives him a really cool look, sort of maybe diseased or something. The other thing I want to compliment the Four Horsemen on is the armor. Really, this burnished, like a deep, I don't know if it's a copper or a brass, but it's dark, and it really complements his dark skin, and it has these nice little metallic accents there that really go well with these spiky legs and the spiky pauldrons, which is a light blue. So this is one stylish dude, in spite of the fact that he spent his whole life in the dark mostly. And his weapons are killer. I mean, look at this one. And they're really, really nicely painted. I think these weapons were some of the weapons that you got in some of the weapons packs. But look at that. It's got, bone handle.
It's all broken.
It's got chips and nicks, and it looks really like it's been through its share of battles, and it just looks really nice, especially the copper accent there on the hilt, and then the silver. So I was complaining a little bit about the mace, which was the weapon that came with Scaphoid, who was part of this assortment, not having the handle painted, but man, they really went over above and beyond on these weapons. And this is another really cool kind of weapon from a weapons pack. It's a bone that has a blade grafted onto it. So it's very cool and nicely painted as well. Love that copper accent. You've got the leather strapping, the dark black bone, and then the metallic on that weapon. What do you think of the weapons, Miguel? They're
pretty cool.
I hope
they're very.
I hope people can't hear the munching going on there.
They're very macho compared to his doggy print temporary tattoos.
Those are not doggy print temporary tattoos. The other cool thing
about this guy... He cut them apart and then put them on differently so people wouldn't realize that they're doggy print tattoos, but I'm actually onto him.
He comes with these two leather... Well, they're not leather, but they're rubber plastic that looks like leather. 2 straps. Not just 1, 2, which is nice. Because when you have the pauldrons on, you want to have the straps on too, so it looks like they're attached to something. I mean, he'd be pretty badass if he just welded the pauldrons onto his bare skin. Kind of like that orc from the Lord of the Rings movie where he had that pitchfork or whatever just jammed through his arm as a prosthetic device. But no, that's nice. He also comes with this extra sword here, which nothing special about it, nothing particularly orky about it, but just another nice extra. And last but definitely not least is the alternate head. Look at this. This has to be a different character because unless it's an older version, because his tusks are longer than Gorthokk's.
Everyone knows if you put in a helmet, your tusks grow.
He's getting long in the tooth here, so he's got to wear a safety helmet.
Are his ears longer too?
Are they?
A little bit. They're a little bit longer.
They look about the same. But, I mean...
A little bit longer.
They look really, really... That head looks really, really nice. And actually makes me wish that I had bought a second Shadow Orc to go with this Shadow Orc so I could have 2 characters. But, Ooh, hey, he actually threw his sword out.
He wants to do bare-knuckle brawling.
I remember I talked about thinking about switching up the Shadow Minotaur and the Shadow Orc's heads. See what that would look like. Now I can do that. Oh!
Doesn't really fit. The neck is a little bit too big.
He's been working out. Okay, how about now?
It looks a little bit more reasonable.
Yeah, with the pauldrons on.
Although his head looks really small.
No, do you see how much difference the what do you call it? Temporary tattoos make on that?
His head looks really small.
I wonder if they... Huh?
His head looks really small on that body.
Yeah, because you need the pauldrons. The spiky pauldrons, man. Hey, no orc will go out without his signature spiky
pauldrons.
Spiky pauldrons. Here's some other orcs to compare him to. Some other very, very cool orcs.
What's with the head in the shield?
Oh, this guy came with a second head, so...
So you put it in the shield?
With the... Whoa! See? This is very cool. So, this was my favorite orc until the Cavern Orc came along, and now he has been displaced. Alright, folks, I hope the lighting and the video does this figure justice, because he looks super cool in hand. But I highly recommend it. This we're going to get female orcs through the Kickstarter, so hopefully you supported that. And so these guys won't be by themselves. Female orcs are babelicious. All right, this is Just Wiz, and we go signing off.